Cody See,
What's up?
how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm feeling stressed lately, but just it's all good things. All good things, you know? But yeah, it feels like lots happening at a time when there's usually it's really chill for us typically in the business. So, but it's like a lot of personal stuff too. So, yeah.
Is this some good stuff?
Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff. We have a podcast too. Our podcast, we finally just finished a rebrand and a new website specifically built on Wix Studio on purpose. So a lot of people dump on Wix.
That's crazy, by the way.
Really?
That's crazy. So yeah, I was reading your notes before this and how like you've been looking into the SEO of Wix.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty interesting because Wix notoriously had terrible SEO.
Right. Yeah. We had Kobe Gamliel on our podcast about a year and a half ago now. And he's the head of Wix Studio partnerships, I think. And it was very weird, that whole talk, because we told him, and not just him, but I can't remember who all reached out to us. And that's the bizarre thing, is like all of this happened just because they reached out to us. I was telling Jake this too, because people could say like, well, why not Squarespace or something else? I'm like, I don't know. They didn't ask us, right? Like if they did, this could be an entirely different play out, right? This could be, but anyway, they wanted to come on and they're like, hey, we want agencies. And we're like, okay, we got to address this. Right? We can't seriously have you on and not talk about all the things that people have grilled Wix for in the past, right? And tell us how you've done things about them very seriously, because we're not dumb and our audience isn't dumb. And I mean that in the nicest way to you guys, Wix, for like, I'm not trying to insult you, but I think your audience, like up until now, and who you say that you're going after are different crowds. And if we say, hey guys, Wix is great, Wix is awesome, and we don't address the fact that it has not been to people, especially SEOs, if we're talking about serious SEOs, they're going to laugh and they're going to stop listening. They're never going to trust us again. So we had to have them on. Weirdest interview. HR is literally sitting in the room, right? Like over here in this corner where you can't see them, to make sure everything goes okay. Nothing gets completely derailed.
HR or PR?
Yeah, sorry, PR, not HR.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It was crazy. It was crazy, but it was cool. Like I don't want to, like, it wasn't bad. They were great. It was awesome. But just that, like, there's this low buzz tension of knowing that on both sides, if things get weird and we need to grill them on something that they're not prepared to handle, we're going to do it because we have to, right? For our credibility as podcasters and as SEOs.
Did you do it? Did you do it? Was there anything worth grilling them on?
In some places, yeah.
Oh man,
it's hard.
So wait, let me ask. So you're moving to Wix right now. What makes Wix a good CMS for SEO?
We literally recorded the podcast yesterday on all the things that I found, pointing out that you guys got to do something about this. And I tried to put them in order of importance for SEOs in particular, which is weird too. SEO is such a hard thing for me. And I know you're the SEO guy. So like it's weird because depending on who I'm talking to, I either know a lot or nothing about SEO. There's so many people now that I know who just know a ton more than me that I don't want to say that I know a lot. And I've been out of the game for so long comparatively. Like,
this method of marketing is so effective, I had to make sure it wasn't against Google's rules before I kept doing it. It's a form of SEO I call compact keywords. Whereas most SEO focuses on putting up articles to answer questions how, what, when, compact keywords focuses on putting up dozens of pages that sell to searchers who are actually looking to buy. These pages rank on Google and convert so much better than normal that when I discovered this years ago, I couldn't believe this was allowed. It's less work too. The average compact keywords page is only 415 words. Compact Keywords is a 13-hour deep course on getting sales with SEO. A customer recently said, "Each lesson is dense with information. You're giving years worth of experience boiled down into 15 to 30-minute lessons with no filler or fluff. I feel like I'm gaining a new superpower." Compact Keywords is about setting up an SEO funnel that brings you sales for years and years and years. It works with AI, it's less work than traditional SEO, and it makes way more money. You can get it now at compactkeywords.com. Back to the podcast.
I know easy SEO, right? And I can say that to you because you understand it. Where like
to be fair, when Jake, your business partner, came on the show, Jake Hundley came on the show, his method of SEO, and he gets results. For a lot of people, it would seem to be easy SEO, simple SEO. Find keywords that are like under targeted, target them properly, have landing pages that are made to convert, basic link building, connect to Google Search Console, set up a Google business profile, and that's mostly it. And I mean, does that make it bad? It would make it bad if it wasn't working so well, but it works really well, and it's white hat, so it's sustainable. So easy SEO, there's nothing really wrong with easy SEO or like simple SEO, just to be fair.
But I think people get their identities built up in it, right? Where they pride themselves on the fact that they can rank for competitive things, highly competitive things. And in order to do that, you need to do more advanced things.
You don't even need to be the most. No, I would actually disagree with that. You really don't. You just kind of have to stick with the brand and build it up over time. You stick with the brand, you build it up over time, you get better links, you get better opportunities, you get partnerships, brings you more better links, and you're getting more branded searches, and you're popping off on many different marketing channels, and you have real engagement and brand recognition, which ups your CTRs. You have more increasing topical authority, and now you can rank for those more competitive keywords.
That's the safe way. Yeah, I'm with you 100% there. You know, I think a lot of people don't want to do it that way. We know because we hear from them.
I hear from them too, and I think I personally that's the risky way. That's the way where you waste all of your time and energy and money trying to do the shortcut, where if you just went with the long cut, you would probably get there faster than you expected, and you would get there and you would stay there.
Right. Preach, man.
Whereas the shortcut, you're just bouncing around, wasting your time. And most people who are trying to get these shortcuts, they don't even do it.
Yeah, well, and they don't know how, right? They don't actually know. They don't go deep enough into it to really figure out how, if you are going to do it that way, how to do it in a way that you don't get caught. I don't know. That's, they
don't want to go deep enough because you have to go deep.
Right.
You have to go really deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then at that point, if you're, I listen to these things occasionally. I hear people talk about them occasionally where they're doing these really super technical things that are shady, that are sketchy, right? They will eventually get caught in some way or other. And the thing now for me, right, what I think about is if this was just me and Jake, and we didn't have a team, sure, why not, right? Like, I would be more willing to explore and play with a lot of those things.
I wouldn't do that.
Really?
I waste of time.
I just for funsies.
Why?
Though. Like I would enjoy it.
I suppose.
I
mean, I think there's black hat techniques where it's just impossible that you're going to get caught. And then there's things like CTR manipulation where it's like, how long is this going to work for? You have to have the right vendors. It's always a cat and mouse game. There's many different things like that. Certain PBNs, and it's just, I don't know, you know what the cool thing about white hat link building, when you do it the right way, because the best links actually bring referral traffic. The cool thing about that is that you're also getting referral traffic.
Yeah.
It's not just a link.
Yeah. I remember early.
It's not just a link.
Early when I was doing SEO, I reached out to Jalopnik because there was an unlinked brand mention that I wanted. So I reached out to the author of the individual post and just said, "Hey, you mentioned this company. Can you edit it to include a link, to their website?" And they said, "I don't even have access anymore. Sorry. Like, it's been a few years." So I sent and he told me too. He's like, "Hey, just send a letter of or an email, like article correction to the general email contact for Jalopnik, and then they'll do it for you." So I did, and I said something like article correction in the subject line, and then I get a response back. I can't remember that it's like the top guy there who responds back and just says like, calling this, can I swear here, by the way? I don't know.
Yeah, you can swear.
Yeah,
sure.
He responds back and just says like, calling this a correction is complete and utter bullshit. You're an SEO and this is part of your SEO process. And I didn't respond because I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, you're not wrong. I am an SEO and I am trying to do that. But I looked and he did give me the link, and we totally got a boost from it. It was awesome. It was great.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's great.
And there was referral traffic.
So the method is to so wait, it was just an unlinked mention.
Yeah. So they dropped the brand name.
Message the general email. And then say, hey, like, can you make say you got to correct your terrible article. This is going to fix it.
Yeah. Correct the fact that you forgot to link to the business. And yeah, roasted me, but still gave it to me. So I was grateful.
Is that the best backlink you've gotten?
Probably not the best performing at the time. But I think probably one of my proudest, just because that's a more established website to be getting something from. The other ones that I've gotten that have performed well, it was, I don't even know why it didn't make sense, but like back in the day, when you could still just log into a forum and drop a link, in random miscellaneous forums throughout the internet, I'd done one there, basically posing as anonymous when I clearly was helping a company, and all the responses totally, grilled me, saying like, you must work for them, blah, blah, blah. But there was a huge boost, right? Like that was awesome. Just logged in
on a forum.
What's that?
On a forum.
Yeah. You're like
and it was a do follow link or no follow?
Honestly. Oh, it was follow. Yeah. No, it was follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I just dropped it. It might even been, it might have been a signature link. I legit don't remember at this time. I just remember logging in like a week later and seeing an immediate boost. And I was like, that was fast and awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. The Jalopnik one, I like that because I'm very familiar. I can't say for what, though people might be able to figure it out. But I was on the front page of Jalopnik for like 48 hours one time.
Nice.
It was over a decade ago. Maybe it was a decade and a half ago. I don't know.
It's a bummer now.
But yes,
like things take more time. Back then things went faster, and now everything has gotten more established. So like, that's at least I think when you're doing the clean and white hat, and especially, I'd say especially without links now. If you're opting out of link building in general, whatever stance you want to have on it, whether you're doing your own stuff, but like just pure content marketing or things like that, it seems like things just take a lot more time than they used to. Agree? Disagree?
Actually, I think things are a lot faster.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like when I started in SEO, there was like this general rule of that you're going to be sandboxed.
Yeah.
And I really just don't see that anymore. Like, in fact, if anything, I'm surprised how fast people can get results with new sites.
Really?
That's, yeah.
New domains?
So, new domains, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I could just been out of the game too. Like I don't, there was a time when I was, in Search Console every week and every day, if not that, multiple times a day. And now I go in there when I need to, so.
Actually, so when Jake was on the show, our conversation was really interesting. I guess we talked for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he told me is like he doesn't even really care about link building.
Yeah.
He's like, just pick the right keywords. Like he doesn't really doesn't really need many or any links. It's like pick the right keywords and submit it to Google Search Console.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, things are easier and faster now than they were before.
I think
more people are waking up to the fact that half of the battle is picking the right keywords.
But what about,
because you don't necessarily want the super competitive ones, because a lot of the super competitive ones, they might have higher traffic, but they may be like way higher on the funnel.
Right.
So it might just be like a lot of people who aren't actually looking to convert. And so like that could be good for brand visibility. If you pick the right keywords, it could be good for top of mind awareness, but it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of effort. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's just going to be, it's more competitive. So it's going to take more work and more effort. Whereas like you can go after bottom of funnel keywords where people are looking to purchase right now that are that are not seen as sexy because there's not a lot of volume at the bottom of the funnel. And then you go after these keywords, and like, because no one else is going after them, you rank really fast and really easily. You don't need a lot of words because people already know what they're looking for. You just have to tell them you're the brand that's going to give them what they're looking for. And yeah, and then you get the conversions because people are literally looking to convert.
That's about the majority of my SEO experience, actually, right? Like when I think about most of the time, and it was because, do you know Glenn Alsop, Viper Chill?
Yeah, I love him. I love him. He's great.
I read his stuff, right? And then I just go, this is a different world. This is access to resources that I don't have because he really doubled down on this, right? And if you want to get into that level of SEO, I think it's cool, but it's unnecessary, right? You don't have to get that complicated. You can keep things as simple as, and that's once I realized going after the highly competitive keywords and things like that is fun, but it's more for ego than it is for money. That's when I just said, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go and find the things where, and eventually after you do it long enough, you get an intuitive sense of what you can rank for without doing anything. You don't even need to open up the keyword planner. You don't need to do keyword research. You can just do a quick check. I'm going to write this, I'm going to rank. And that's what I started doing, right? So like on my personal site, that's what I'll do for a lot of things. If I know I just want to fill a gap in something and then plug it in over to Amazon Associates so I can make a few bucks a month, that's where I'll play with it and explore it. And it's a lot of fun doing it that way, because they're usually topics that I just have fun writing about. And then, you don't have to worry about like trudging through something more broad that you honestly just don't care about, right? You're like, I got to rank for this, but I'm not excited for it. And I have to figure out a way to get content for it. And then you start getting into more of what tools can I use to get through this because I don't want to do it. And that goes into the whole AI talk. And I don't know, we can talk about that, but.
Well, so I probably should have asked this earlier on, but yeah, could you share your background? You sent me some things that you've done. I'm like, oh, these are some cool things. And you had like an affiliate SEO site and like,
yeah. I got started in this after graduating college the first time in 2014. And my girlfriend, now my wife, her sister's boyfriend at the time was working at a startup. And I didn't know anything about it other than I saw him work from home sometimes. And I thought, I want to work from home. In fact, I want to work from anywhere. I don't want to work any one particular place. I want the option to work wherever. And I had done enough research to know that, you can transfer that to the make money online thing and do whatever you want, however you want to. So fast forward, I was able to get a job there at the startup with him, and I was there during the day. I spent the first year on the SEO team, the second team on the PPC team, later jump ship. But that's like my professional experience. While I was there doing that, right away, as soon as I started learning SEO, I thought I want to figure this out more on my own time. So 7 to 11 every night, weekends too. I started building my own stuff, and it took me. I tried a few different like niche affiliate SEO sites, but my first one took me 9 months to build, which I like because I remember you saying you took a year, or you spent a year building compact keywords, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to know. Like I wanted to know it, not the way that you can do it to speed run it, but I want to know what a cron job in cPanel is, right? Like I want to know the second that I hit a stopping point, I wanted to go down the rabbit hole of that point to learn what that was, so that there wasn't a point. And actually I got this later on when we got our first employee, with Jake and I with our agency, where her name was Courtney, and she asked, she's like, where do I learn this, or how does somebody learn this? And I said, you can't. You learn it from me, because I learned it this way and I didn't get to learn it on the job. So I'll teach you these things because you won't get them anywhere else. But anyway, 9 months, shipped it, started making money. And really that was my most successful niche SEO site. It at its peak was making like $700 a month. Typical average was about 500. I remember reaching out to Empire Flippers about selling it, but didn't end up going through with it because according to them, it wasn't meeting their threshold. I think I was still like $50 short or something. But yeah, that was kind of the start anyway of getting into the whole SEO thing. And for me, I was drowning in student loan debt, and that was the thing that enabled me to pay off a ton of debt relatively quickly. I say relative, it still took years, right? But basically all that money straight to loans. And then
Crazy.
I went back later after I paid all those off. I went back to school because I could. At that time, Jake and I, man, this is like, I'm trying to like cram a lot in here. I'm also not the normal guy to do this. Jake's usually the guy doing the outreach. I like to hang out more behind the scenes, but
Jake came on.
Yeah.
For 3 hours. That's what Jake's like. Then he messaged. He's like, "Oh, my business partner needs to come on." I'm like, "All right."
He's great. Yeah, we met at that startup that had gotten acquired later, and we teamed up. We started building an agency. It got bigger. Once it got big enough, it was really the thing that enabled me to go back to school a second time, which is what I wanted to do. I paid cash the second time. I went to school for Japanese. I graduated a year ago now with a degree in Japanese for that, and kept building the agency along the way. It kept getting bigger. We got a few employees. We found, I think everybody on the team right now was actually a consequence of going back to school. So I met a good friend while studying. His name was Javier. And I remember posting a job listing, and he said like, hey, my sister is studying marketing, but she's not in the US. And I was like, I don't care where anybody is. We don't care. Like anybody can apply. They're all welcome to at least give it a shot. So we got a job application from her that night at like 2 a.m., hired her. And yeah, more has come from that too. Like there was a referral basically through that connection, and then another employee that worked out. Not the same connection, but through school. Basically I got another referral for somebody who wanted to work on the team. And
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
no.
So Jake came on the pod, told me about his method, which I described. And so, I mean, we were talking about this earlier. When you're not doing SEO for clients and you're just exploring crazy SEO, what's some crazy SEO things that you're exploring and have explored, and like some crazy learnings that you've got, like epiphanies, because you've been in the game for a while?
I think I remember infographics being big, right? And that was actually a thing that really enabled my that niche site that was able to make about 500 a month average to take off. So
What year was this?
2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you made an infographic that got links.
Yeah. Yeah. On Pinterest, especially. That was where it really decided to pop off. And it wasn't even like at that point, the hype had started dying. Everybody had already said like infographics are big, blah, blah, blah. So I'm still new. I don't even know really, right? But I'm like, I'll do it. And it was another great example of what we're saying, where if you find it in lower competition places, even if you aren't doing the trendiest thing anymore, but the competition is lower, it will work. So I wasn't going up against anybody. The fact is that that thing just didn't exist, right? I made it. It wasn't there before. The demand was there. So people were looking for it and they wanted to see it. So the fact that I was the only one who gave any solution is what enabled it to get, especially Pinterest links more than anything else. And that was cool.
I like how and I told Jake this when he was on the show, how niche down your agency is.
Yeah.
So it's specifically can you say the niche again?
Yeah.
Like lawn,
Landscaping
it's
and lawn care, green industry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
To just niche down that much. It's like yeah, I'm such a fan of, I mean, there's riches in the niches is what they say.
The business model rocks. It's awesome. You know, you find a win, you duplicate it, you roll it out to everybody. Like, you're not doing, there's other problems with it. I'll say that. There are totally other problems with it when it comes to scaling that you will struggle with, especially because we productize. But there's nothing better than finding out something that you learn something in the niche, and that win goes to all clients, every single one. So you're not testing here, 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 and here, right? Other than you can do that, but you know that the second that you find something, you blast it out to everybody. And then
what are some things that you found, I guess, in the last like 2 years that has benefited all of your clients?
negative keywords, always, more than anything else, right? Just knowing that when you find, so like when we do, and I know this is PPC, I'm sorry, it's just where I'm at now, right? But doing negative keyword, just digging through search terms. So when we pull reports, we just pull them at the top level of the manager account for all sub accounts, because we know it doesn't really matter. They're all offering generally the same services. So when we start digging through and seeing what types of queries we're showing up for, and then we see the most recent one is we've expanded more into pest control. So that's like adjacent, but it's new. So Jake actually talked to me and he said, can you like make up a list of everything that we've learned so far going into pest control now? And I said, yeah. There's massive overlap between DIY queries and service related queries in pest control. And that was new because that doesn't really happen as much in landscaping and lawn care specifically. So I'm talking about spray, killers, traps, you know, all these types of searches that are showing up where Google even understands. If you say, what is it? It's mosquito spray, right? That, like, I'm like fact checking myself because I know your listeners are hardcore and they're totally going to try this. Mosquito spray is an e-commerce query. You will get mosquito spray, like bug spray, right? Mosquito spraying is a service query, and you will get service related results when you search for that. So seeing that and knowing like we're dropping, and they won't tell you, Google won't tell you, right? Because they're going to hide it in what's the word? In the not shown search queries. But we're showing up for a significant percentage of these queries that Google will take our money if we let them. And all of those got added as negatives. And we see immediate drops in wasted spend more than anything else, but also just huge improvements in click-through rates, right? Knowing that we're not showing up for queries that suck. We start from zero. So we don't go in with any preconceived notions, right? It's purely what does Google give to us and what do they tell us is bad. We know some, actually, probably one of the most fun things that Jake brought up earlier on was we were getting a lot of question queries: who, what, where, when, whys, right? And normally to just blanket exclude those would be crazy. Like, that's without having the data to prove it. Because I really don't, we'll push back on clients a lot where they say, I have a gut feeling about this. And I don't care. I don't care about your gut feeling unless I have data to prove that what you're saying is accurate and correct. I don't want to just, like, I understand when you have limited data, you have to do it sometimes, right? Especially when you're dealing with like smaller businesses will not get enough data quickly enough for you to do some of these things. So you have to make a calculated risk decision, right? But generally speaking, if you just say, I feel like X is a bad word, until the data proves that it's a bad word, I'm not going to add it, right? So, that's not for everything though. So I'm just saying, generally speaking, when that happens. So everything that we built on there has come from showing up in the search terms reports and then us doing like a pivot table, analysis to prove that if these show up, they don't convert. They're too expensive. It's not financially worth it. The exception would be services that they just don't offer, right? If you, Google's really done with this, with matching, at least with Google Ads. If you search for landscaping, but you offer lawn care and vice versa, Google will just like lump all of that together, and it's not the same thing. So we will definitely negate those. We'll say, if you do lawn care, but you don't offer landscaping, then we're going to make sure that landscaping is a negative keyword so that we're not showing up for that. Otherwise, broad match has done a number on all of that stuff. And I know a lot of people are really pushing it. I think PMax in general, like performance max campaigns, everybody's pushing that too. We're holding out. There's a lot of, but I that's getting deep into PPC. I think the overlap actually between these two that we've spent the most time exploring most recently is local service ads. Like we're doing a whole lot more with local service ads, and we had what's her name, Sterling Sky, Joy Hawkins.
Oh, yeah, Joy Hawkins. She's been on the show before.
Yeah. We talked to her a little bit about it, and she's got a guy over there. I can't remember. I think his name is Matt something. I'm blanking. He's their LSA guy though, and I learned a lot from him actually. He really knows his stuff. That was cool.
Talk about LSAs.
Fun, super fun, awesome. I love it. There's like 5 buttons. That's his thing too. The guy from Sterling Sky that he was saying, like, there's not a lot that you can really do about it, but those things are really important. I just dropped it off an email blast to clients to let them know, because they always tell us when spring comes around, like, we need to talk and kind of re-establish what we're doing for marketing and come up with the game plan, because we're about to get flooded. So I dropped it off the blast and just told them, like, if you're not doing LSAs, you should do LSAs, right? As long as you have everything needed in order for it to work. Like if your market is too small, if you offer too few of services, it doesn't work for agencies. If you're an individual, go do it. There's no reason not to sign up. It's free, right? It's a no-brainer. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, you've lost nothing, right? But the biggest problems that we see with it, people just don't answer the phone. It's not acceptable. It's just like you'll get nuked. Like if you do not answer the phone, if you just don't pick up, don't even sign up. Don't even try. And the thing, Jake's solution for this, and this is what he thought. I agreed with him. This is his idea. I just want to make sure that I give him credit. It was basically like, if clients won't answer the phone, that's our problem because we can't sell the service. So if there's something that we can do to help the service to make it sell, then we should do that. So that's why he started exploring voice AI assistants, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. So we've told them we basically have it in open beta. If you are interested in local service ads, but you don't have somebody, sitting at the desk with the phone in their hand, just waiting for it to, ring, we can go and explore this now. We've worked a lot with the partner is Call Tracking Metrics. So he's got this massive prompt and a spreadsheet of like different things that we've troubleshot. As far as errors, like when people ask this, but this happens, like it's super deep. But basically, that's what we've tried to come up with for a solution when it comes to people who just don't have the staff to do it. Of course, flip side is just go hire a VA, right? If you if you want something that's going to work more immediately, but you need that. And not only that, you also need to log in to the LSA dashboard and fill it out. Not just fill it out, like fill it out because there's a CRM where you have to report on the leads, but rate them. Like rate them how like the quality, how good it is. And that way Google knows. It's really two things that we've noticed. One is like lead quality improves when you're rating leads because then it will give you more of the good ones and less of the bad ones. That much seems obvious and intuitive. But the bigger thing is if you don't do it, they'll just stop showing your ad. You just won't rank anymore. So you have to do it.
you said to me that you think AI generated content is going to push people to value IRL networking more, in real life networking more.
Yeah.
And then you wrote, the traditional determiners of authority are eroding as people fall for AI slop. And it's going to force people to rely on who they know and those people vouching for others.
I think that.
A lot of people, actually, one of my business partners said the same thing to me. He thinks actually commercial real estate will become more valuable because employers are going to push employees back to the office because they could be, it could just not be them on a video chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or on a call.
I think the best example for this with me, I don't do outreach at all, right? I mostly don't talk to people. I mostly hang out in the background. So when I do, this sounds cocky. I don't mean it that way, right? Like that's not what I'm trying to get at. But when I do outreach and I don't get a response, it's weird. It's surprising because I'm not the cold contact outreaching person. So when I do these things, like I've done my research. If there's somebody that I'm going to contact for something, I know creepy amounts about them because I'm good at, I'm good at the internet. I can find out what I need to know the right sort of things that I should include in the outreach email. Hey, I'm reaching out about this. I talked to this person about this, and that's why I'm reaching out, through them. So I'm dropping the name references that they know, like this isn't just a total cold contact. Anyway, if I send somebody a message on LinkedIn now, I'll get nothing, zero, right? And I'm talking like, hey, I saw your video of this on YouTube. I met this person in real life who knows you personally, and blah 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 blah. And I get zero. Like, I think everything that traditionally worked when it came to just communication, I don't even mean like tactics or outreach, like anything like that, just proper traditional communication. AI has damaged that route of doing that sort of thing, right? For example, being polite, just as a concept, just the idea of being polite in communication and outreach, emails, messages, that sort of thing. Now people have to intentionally, forget to capitalize something or do like a one-off minor error so that it's an intentionally made human mistake, as opposed to, oh yeah, they just cranked this out in ChatGPT or something, right? Or else you'll just read it and go, yeah, they didn't actually write this, or they didn't actually research this, or whatever, right? And I think that forces people at that point, if that's where we're at, and we can't trust those traditional markers that we've come to rely on as signals of trust, then you have to go back to, who do you actually know? Who do you know in person? Who can you reference or refer to have somebody vouch for the fact that this is a real thing, right? Because if I'm trying to think, after this podcast, I say all of this about ignoring. I ignore people more than anybody else. Like, if I get emails that are cold outreach ones, I ignore them. If I get one that said, hey, I listened and I heard you on the Edward Stern podcast, I'm going to pay attention to that, right? Because that has a lot more like trust signals. Even it's not in real life, because we're not doing this literally in person, but it's real life, at least in that we did like a true human interaction. And I can trust that more than whatever they're able to scrape off of, wherever they pulled it from, and just say something really generic about me that they were able to, I don't know, dig up without doing any real research. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Though I will say, I mean, I'm pretty good at not falling for AI. Like, so I get, I don't know, 3 to 5 requests a day from PR people who they're representing some client who wants to come on the podcast.
Yep.
And you guys have a show. I'm sure you get it too. And they all have the same exact format. I listened to this episode of yours. It was truly astounding. Really changed the way I thought about X, Y, and Z. I have this client who's blah, 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 similarly related. And you can tell it's written by AI. They leave in M dashes. They leave in like common buzzwords. Like you get, they all look the same. It's a 3-paragraph structure. Like, and all the paragraphs are this. I can actually just literally look at the email without reading it and delete it right away and know that it is from one of these.
Got the bullets where they're saying like, these are the things that this person has accomplished.
Sometimes they do bullets, but sometimes it's just 3 paragraphs. But you can still tell from the structure. Sometimes they do the bullets, or they're bolding words in a way that like suggests it's from ChatGPT. And they're doing, like, the AI is doing that method. Like it's pretending to have listened to the show. And I like, honestly, for me, like, short and sweet is just like, and interestingly, I do say yes to those people sometimes, because sometimes there are like some interesting people who actually do have PR agents and who do reach out, and I've gotten some great guests that way. But it's funny how like the AI knows. I mean, of course it's like, but how ChatGPT is like, yeah, I listened to this. I'm sure it's a pretty easy automation to set up, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done the same. Like, and that's part of my point about the problem, though, is like, it's able to do this because, like, for a reason, and the reason is that it works. Like, relying on
The thing is, people would actually come, like, I would actually say yes to a lot more of these people if, instead of like having the AI write it, because the AI doesn't even do a very good job. It just, like, it was an actual human who like scrolled through the podcast for 15 minutes or 10 minutes and said, okay, this is like an SEO show. Here's my client. Oh, you know what? My client's website has great SEO rankings. Let me pitch this as and there are some PR people who do that and who aren't using AI. And I I have a high likelihood of saying yes to those people when they actually go and like do it. It's like they're all using AI, and it's doing a bad job. It's replicating what should be working, but I don't need to hear you listen to this episode and you thought it was breathtaking. I just want to know why your client is going to offer my viewers and listeners value, and like specific to my niche. That is what I care about. And honestly, if anything, like right now, this was the case. I would say this was the case 5 years ago, but and it's so probably so much more important now to just be straightforward and direct.
Yeah. I should have said this at the beginning, but that's honestly like one of the biggest things I was thinking about leading up to this is just knowing, like, I've read the comments on your videos, and I know that your listeners are serious, right? And I mean that in like the best of ways. You know, when you read, I don't know how to describe it. Like you read SEO comments about things and you're like, okay, like this is reading like somebody who's new, right? And your listeners aren't new. So how can
Some of them are, but some of them are very experienced. Yeah.
Right. How can I add something of value here that's new and something that, you know, other people haven't already covered, or something in a unique way that, you know, helps them. Yeah. What's a unique angle, right? Because that's the same thing that we think about with podcast guests is, you know, once you've done it for so long and your total like volume, your catalog of episodes is a lot longer than ours because you're daily instead of weekly, right? Like, how do you approach coming up with new angles? Because a lot of the stuff is just going to be said over again, but you're hoping, at least, if nothing else, in a new way, that it reaches people. You know, like sometimes you just have to repackage the message so that when it hits, people are able to absorb it.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way, because people forget. People need to be reminded. I mean, like myself, I'm the same way. If there's something that I like hearing it multiple times. It's the same reason you watch reruns of a TV show that you like, or of a YouTube video that you like. There are YouTube videos that I've watched 20 times, 30 times, because I just like it.
Yeah.
And then there's things that, like, you might have heard something 30 episodes ago or 60 episodes ago, which is 60 days ago in my case. It didn't apply to you, but now you're working on this other thing, and now it directly applies to you. And like the first time you heard it, you didn't care. The second time you heard it, you really cared. Yeah, so I want to end the show by going back to Wix, because I want to.
Yeah, sorry.
Because Wix is really, like, there are, you know, but I still hear from a lot of people who they want to just start a new site. They want to create a new niche. They want to go into a new niche and start a new site. But yeah, more importantly, start a new site. And Wix is really easy.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I would say stay away from Wix because it's like really easy. But I would say stay away from it because its SEO is bad. It's slow. It can be cumbersome at times. I actually normally recommend Squarespace for people who don't have a lot of experience. I use WordPress, but a lot of people, like, the learning curve for WordPress could be too great. So I'll say, you know, use Squarespace. And I've seen amazing SEO done with Squarespace. But Wix is really easy. So I'm curious how would you describe their SEO before, and how would you describe it now? And like, what did they change?
Before, it was bad. I don't know what else to say, right? Like, everybody's already said it. Like, I can't even remember. I can't even remember specific things. Like, I wish I could, but like my first website in school was on Wix, right? And like, the professor was an adjunct who was also doing WordPress websites, and he basically said, like, if you're going to get into this, you need to do WordPress, but for the sake of this class, you can use Wix, and that is what I did. And like, if anything, like, I don't mean to just plug our podcast, but that was everything that we brought up to Kobe when we did, is we were just saying, here's everything that people have brought to us from the past, and tell us how you have addressed this. But let me answer more about like where it's at now and what I think. I think, and all of this is like super fresh, like literally within the last 3 days, because I shipped off this 9-page document of here's everything that Wix Studio needs to fix for SEOs, based on what I know, right? And like, number one is, like, this is the number one I put at the very top. I have like text in red. You cannot use a non-www website with Wix Studio if your domain is not with Wix, right? Technically you can. They like if you're working with Wix Studio and they can do levers and things if you can contact them directly, but there's not a native way to do it. So
Wait, so if your domain is on like Namecheap,
correct.
you can't do like, let's just say edwardsturm.com, and you couldn't do you would have to do www.edwardsturm.com
Unless you're going to reach out to
with
support.
wow.
Right. That's number one.
That's crazy.
That's number one.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's totally crazy. I was like, you guys can't do that. You got to figure that out. Like, no, again, that's another thing that people will not take you seriously about. And because of that, like, and their solution, right, is, well, let us know and we'll come up with a solution. And I'm like, that's great when you're small and when you can do that, right? But what happens when you get flooded with new clients, new customers, and you can't rely on that human thing? Like, you should have there should be buttons in the UI where I'm just clicking this and then this is an option, because that is how WordPress works and that is what everybody knows. Actually, at the very top of this document, what I said was, your guys' problem, more than anything else, is that you have a solution that works effectively as well as WordPress at this point, but you are not going one-to-one with WordPress. And they don't mentally think that way either. And they can say whatever they want, but the reality is, if you're doing SEO and you're not new, then any CMS changes, nearly half of all of your consideration will be, well, what if I'm moving away from WordPress, right? And if you're not accommodating and supporting that, which was all of my feedback, like almost all of my feedback was like focused on those points, like enforcing trailing slashes, right? The ability to do that in a non-code way, Wix Studio should accommodate, right? And if you're not figuring out a way to do that without code, and that was everything. Everything was no code. Like, why? Because WordPress, you don't need code. You can, if you want to. But if you want to, you can use a plugin, right? If you like want to do it like in a way that's not built into whatever, page builder or whatever that you're using. But Wix Studio needs to come up with solutions for all of those things that helps people transition over from WordPress, because there are people like lately, tell me if I'm wrong. This is my feeling about WordPress lately. WordPress is good, not great. Like, it's still one of the best things you can do. It's just not as good as it used to be. And that's a really frustrating place to be. Right?
I'm thinking if I agree. I'm not going to answer that because to be honest, I don't have enough complaints with WordPress. Other people might, but like for my purposes, it works. It does what I need it to do. And I'm very used to WordPress, so it does what I need it to do. What I will say is that lots of alternative solutions have come long ways.
Yeah.
There's just way more alternatives than there was before.
Yeah. Yeah. The things that we ran into, like the reasons why we wanted to explore more transitioning was it's really scalable stuff, right? Like troubleshooting email deliverability is a huge pain. I hate it. I'm so tired of it. SMTP.
I think everyone hates it.
Yeah, Mailgun. Like, I just don't want to, and I don't want it to be a job. And that was one thing that Wix just said, it's not a problem anymore. You're not going to have to worry about it or deal with it. It's all right here. It's all built in, right? And if you don't want it to be built in, we have automations to make it not built in. They're not that complicated. I will say a lot, I guess I shouldn't, or I should also mention and drop, like with the podcast website in particular, which was the test of exploring Wix Studio for all this stuff, I'm relying a lot on Make for automations that complete SEO tasks, right?
Like what?
Yeah. So, can I pull it up? I'll just pull it up.
Yeah, sure.
It might make me log in. This could take a second.
Do you just have anything off the top of your head?
Yeah. So I'll just describe the whole flow. So
Yeah, that's good.
Right now, or not right now anymore, because we just killed it. We pulled the plug on it. We were using BuddyPress for WordPress with automatic, semi-automatic, not fully automatic, new page updates when we would launch a new podcast episode. The whole thing about with podcasting in particular is like, I don't want to do stuff manually weekly that should not be manually done, right? When it comes to page updates and stuff like that. Like what I wanted was we launch an episode and there is a SEO optimized page on the website for that episode. And all of that happened without any manual inputs beyond what we already have to put into the podcast hosting platform. So what happens is we do that. We use Blueberry. We plug it into Blueberry. There's an RSS feed. That RSS feed goes to Make. And then the scenario in Make takes everything from that RSS feed, does everything, which I'll describe in a second, and then cranks out a page on the Wix Studio CMS website that is SEO optimized as much as reasonably possible. So we're taking the RSS feed, we're taking different variables like episode number, episode name, description, right? The cover art image, download it. Now take the episode title, mash it with the episode number, and then I'm like trying to say all of it correctly from what I remember. Put that into the image file name as well as the alt text so that when you upload it into the CMS collection that holds all of this information, it pulls dynamically onto the page, right? That sort of stuff. And then while doing that, like knowing that parts of the RSS feed just don't play well. So first we have to parse the text, push it into Markdown, take it from Markdown back to HTML so that it's cleaned up. And then pull whatever things out we want from it in order to get, like SEO optimized, but still automated. That's always, everybody wants that. That's always the hardest thing is how can I do this reasonably where it's pretty good, knowing that I can't do individualized attention to this every week. So like if people audited it and they're like, yeah, like it's good, it could be better. And it's like, I know it could be better. Right? Like it would be better if I spent hours on this every week, but I'm not going to do that. So how can I do this where I literally never go back and look at this? And that's what Make in particular. Of course, it doesn't have to be Make. Everybody else like Zapier, NHN, there's the other tools out there that people are using to accomplish the same things. Jake really knows Zapier well, so I wanted to go and look at Make. That's why I picked it. So when I'm talking about anything Wix Studio, at least with a podcast, we're relying on that. Now, I think if you just, I'm like going back, I'm trying to I've avoided the question that you've asked, and I want to answer it like in good detail about Wix Studio. Like, it's good for small businesses and enterprise businesses too. For mid-sized businesses, there's still a lot to be desired, and that was a lot of what my remaining feedback was on. So why would I say that too? Like, let's go back to where I was saying about using non-www websites. If you're just launching a website, does it matter? It doesn't. You're not going to lose SEO value just by picking one. It's
not that it matters, but you want to start with the right fundamentals in place because it's a real pain to clean stuff up later.
Sure, for sure. Yeah. But you're not going to be dinged. And whether or not you use www or not is ultimately like a personal decision. Like it doesn't even really matter.
I think it could also hurt brand.
Yeah.
It's like, who's using www? It just makes you look like an old fart website.
I mean, I get you. I think, so the pod website does, just because I wanted to ship it. No, it's fine. I wanted to ship it without dealing with it. And I was like, look, we'll talk about this later. Also,
I'm sure there are some listeners too who are on like www. They're like, what? I got to change. You don't have to. You don't have to. I do think for brand non www is better.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we've always done. So like I think we agree. It's like you talk about like SEO optimal strategies and doing things in the best way, knowing everything that you know about SEO. And then you go back as a business owner and you think about these things and like what you're making money with or not making money with. And Jake and I were talking through some of these processes and he'd be like, well, what should we do? And I was like, technically, if we're doing everything correctly, we should do this, this, and this for like, we should place these redirects from the old website, blah, blah, blah. And then we're like, yeah, but how much money are we making from that? Right. And if the answer is not much, pull the plug and do it. Who cares? Right. That's why we just ended up doing it. So sorry. Did I answer everything about Wix Studio?
No.
I'm not getting paid by them, I should say. Like, I don't want people to think like I'm a shill and like pushing their stuff, but like I have spent a lot of time in there. So if there's specific things that I haven't hit on, let me answer more directly because I get off topic really easy.
I guess I mean, you said you weren't going to do this, but like honestly, the easiest way to explain how they cleaned up their SEO is to say more about what was wrong with it before.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't remember. I can pull up the document maybe really quick right now if you want, just like the feedback that we did in our episode, but I could do it again just for your audience too about like what we covered in feedback to them about things that need to be improved for SEO to be better received.
Yeah, you could pull that up really fast.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could just give a quick rundown of that. And that also, I think, will help people just to figure out like what they shouldn't do. A lot of great SEO is knowing what not to do and what not to focus on.
So top one was, and let me pull these out specifically for the SEO ones. The www thing was big. I put it number one. I was like, seriously, you guys have to do something about this. This is embarrassing. Cookie consent, that's kind of specialized. I think it depends how much people want to pay attention to that. And I don't know where your audience is. Is it primarily US based audience or is it Europe?
Global.
Their cookie consent, not great, right? They partner with Usercentrics, which is GDPR first, right? They're based in Germany, so it makes sense. But basically my feedback to them was you take some settings away, like the ability to just turn off the GDPR banner in the native Wix app marketplace. You can't turn that off. And as an American business, I understand where they're coming from and why they would want to do that, but I want the ability. Like, you shouldn't take that away from me. That's crazy. So do that. The other thing is like privacy triggers are a little bit bugged. A big one, if you're deep into dev work, the JavaScript on page, very limited with the Wix Studio. They expect you to do it all through their coding thing called Velo. And it makes controlling the privacy triggers difficult. They expect you to use all their native stuff. And again, if doing that, if you're in Europe and you're all, what is it? It's opt-in based instead of opt-out, great, no problem. If you're in the US and you're opt-out based instead of opt-in, that's annoying. That's a problem. Okay. 3, no code option for enforcing trailing slashes doesn't exist. By default, they do not have trailing slashes at the end of URLs. WordPress does. If you want people away from WordPress, you need to come up with a solution to support that, right? It's just, you're not going to get people. This is frustrating. No nested, no indexing options. Frustrating, right? So for example, you have a website in development and then you, I'm honestly doing a much better job of explaining this on your podcast. I'm kind of jealous now because I'm doing this way faster than I did on ours.
Keep it up, please.
If you want to have nested no indexing, you have a website in development, it's set to no index. You don't want to index while it's being developed. You have individual pages, thank you pages, confirmation pages, right? That you also want to no index because you want people to access them unless they go through the user flow where that triggers the, event that you want to track. Can't do it. You have to set the site live first and then go back and no index those pages. Why? Frustrating, annoying, right? 5, not necessarily SEO, but probably a lot of SEOs. If you're doing ecom, this would be super frustrating. You can't edit a CMS collection. CMS collection is kind of like where you would manage all of your inventory, product inventory, and the attributes of those products. Can't edit it via CSV upload. You can only add new items, and then you can edit via API. But I'm like, this should be basic, guys. We should be able to just upload a CSV with the edits that we want and make the changes. Specific SEO thing, editing jump links / anchor links, the actual text of those things, because those can be indexed, right? When you say, I want to link to this part of the page, I want this part of the page to have these words in it, you can't edit those words. I want the ability to do that. I want to know that when
wait, because that's so basic.
Yeah.
So I just want to understand, you can't edit like the anchor text if you're having a link go to like further down on the page.
Right.
I don't understand.
For the URL.
You can't use custom anchor text?
Again, like I said, I could be misunderstood.
That's so basic.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Well,
why? Like, that doesn't even make sense. You should be able to add a link anywhere that you want, and then if you can make a section, if you can actually link to a section, like, I just don't understand.
I think you can if you're using the normal builder, but the problem is the blog for Wix Studio is an app that they also own and develop, and it's separate from the rest of the Wix Studio builder. Like it's almost like a plugin, like the plugin equivalent for WordPress. So if you had a WordPress plugin that was a blog, and then all of that's controlled separately. So I'm like, you guys just needed to develop this part out further, because like some people might say that's not necessary. It's not that important. But I know I've ranked URLs, right? With jump links to those specific pages. And I want that ability to do that again and not to just rely on ranking the total page. We've done it. Jake and I have done it. We've seen it. We've been like, this is great. We need to keep doing this. Jake is especially good. And that's like a big thing of his, is doing a table of contents, then having those individual sections ranked directly in the SERP.
Yep.
Can't do it. For SEO, this one was super specific, but maybe that's why it's good for your audience too. Images uploaded via API connection, download instead of open in a new tab upon right click. And this is what I'm just confused about, is something's wrong when I upload an image via API connection and then they use a CDN, and I want to know how this gets indexed for image search, right? Because if it doesn't, I want it fixed. I want to know that whatever images we're placing on the page are contributing and helping with SEO value.
Yes.
And I'm tripped up by it. This one, this is the last one. And this could just be me. This is a really picky thing. They have a URL redirect manager. I think a lot of people for WordPress will use redirection if they're going to do it. Typically, what I like to do is
I like that plugin.
Yeah. Okay. HT access. Like if I would ideally prefer to manually code the things in the HT access file, because what I will do is I'll add notes. Like I'll comment out what the redirects are doing, so that when I go back to it years later and I'm like, why is this here and what's the purpose of it? I know why I put it there. And in their redirect manager, I don't know if redirection has this, but I want the ability to tag my redirects with something. I just want to know why they're there, what purpose they're serving, so that when I go back in the future, there's some sort of annotation or note that says, yeah, this is why you're doing this. So for example,
does it have it? I'm going to check. I'm curious.
I don't know,
but go on.
I'm
opening it right now.
I want to, and I would in HT access, I would say these never touch. These are like core important. Since the inception of this website, I placed them there for a specific purpose, and I don't want them to break things, right? Never touch this code. And then I want, these are affiliate cloaking links. We're doing this.
Oh, it has it.
It does?
Redirection has it. It has title, describe the purpose of this redirect, optional.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
That's how it should be, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I told him. I was like, I want a tagging feature. I want something that I can add a tag here that says, do this. That says, this is why this is here. This is why this exists. And, if these are, especially for like with the podcast, I want to cloak affiliate links with pretty links. Hey, we recommend this, ship here. It redirects from this point. Yeah. And then I want to say these.
How are you doing it
right now?
Different. Yeah. How are you hiding affiliate links? I do /refer / then the name of the company, and then that redirects to the affiliate link.
Yeah. I think we were going to do, I'd have to look it up. We shipped this like literally 2 days ago, and it's like next on my list. I just did some trademark stuff with the trademark office yesterday. So like now is where I'm at with this, but I think I was going to do recommends for the folder.
That's cool.
Yeah. We do refers.
Yeah, similar to, I do refer. Actually, I did it because a couple of years ago, I was looking into how WP Beginner did their affiliate URLs. And I think that's what they were doing. I think they were doing like, I just looked because I had heard, I think the founder went on the My First Million podcast, and like the founder is a billionaire. And I don't think it's entirely from WP Beginner, but made a lot of money with WP Beginner. And so I'm like, okay, let me just like copy what they're doing in terms of like affiliate structure. And so they had something else that they did is they had in their footer oh my gosh, I went to the wrong part on my site to get this for you in a second. They had in their footer an FTC disclosure. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put in an FTC disclosure. And and then that's how they were doing their redirects with /refer.
Wait, so the FTC,
and it's WP Beginner.
The disclosure was just, hey, we make money, like an affiliate disclosure.
This is how we make money. We might use affiliates. When I released compact keywords, I said the site also makes money with compact keywords. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting, so I did that too.
Yeah, I made it kind of funny on ours where I just tried to make it like blatantly obvious, because we had was it Onik Singal?
Oh, something else that I found. I probably shouldn't. Actually, I shouldn't say it. What I will say is just go and check if WP Beginner is using rel sponsored. I don't even remember. I don't even remember if they were using no follows or not for all the sponsored links. They might have been, but I remember like looking between like no follow and sponsored. And I don't. But it's not like it's required. But no follow, right. You're supposed to do.
I read a lot of WP Beginner when I was just getting started, so I wonder how much he made from affiliate stuff. Because I have to imagine when you're just starting with that, you're sitting there with your credit card out, right? You're like, I gotta buy these things. Help! What am I doing? So that's the perfect.
Yeah, I believe he became a billionaire. Because. I think he like knew one of the hosts of My First. I don't remember. The podcast was a long time ago, but yeah, he did really well.
Nice, cool. Did I give you everything?
Oh, this has been fun. Thanks for coming on. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah. So new pod site, probably the best place, agencygrowthpod.com. We also have a Discord. If you want to get a hold of me or Jake, that's probably one of the best places to do it. I can send you the link, I guess, to that. It's called Agency After Hours, I believe. That's yet another Jake thing that he takes care of for us. So, but I'm there, and if you want to get a hold of me, that's a good place to do it. Otherwise, through the contact form on the agencygrowthpod.com website too.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on. This is episode 914 of The Edward Show. 914 crazy days in a row doing this podcast. No days missed since starting 914 days ago. If you watched this one on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you listened on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for listening. And I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.